Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Public Service HR Mentorship Series, the second leg for the month of September. Please confirm you can hear me, please. Can you just confirm you can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Doctor.
All right.
Good evening, sir.
Thank you. All right. Sorry for that break in transmission. I was sorting out one or two things there. Okay, so we are welcome back. Thank you so much. Like I said, this is the second leg in the month of September. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are starting right away. Public Service HR Mentorship Series, Shaping HR, Elevating the Public Service. Shaping HR, Elevating the Public Service. And we rightly know, like we do on this platform, we are developing HR professionals, public servants who are professionals, who are knowledgeable, strategic, and impactful in their roles. So And once that is done, we are going to improve the quality of service delivery in the Lagos State Public Service. Let me quickly go to my opening charge today. My opening charge is centered on power of consistency. Power of consistency. During the week, I was able to stumble on this man's story. Aman Gustav Duplantis. He is a pole vaulter. He's a pole vaulter, and he's someone that has been able to uh, he he has been able to use the power of consistency. Even as we speak, he's breaking his own personal records. World record for complete 14 times. And when he was interviewed, to tell us his secret, he said is the power of consistency. Power of consistency. Hello. Wow. Can you hear me? Somebody is making noise somewhere, somehow.
Doctor, I've muted the person. You can go ahead. We can hear you now, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Can hear you.
All right. So he was interviewed. Thank you. So he was interviewed and he said, out of 7 days in a week, he has been training consistently for 6 days. And he said that is where his secret is. And you also remember that I've been posting a flyer on our platform. And that flyer says we should dedicate 1 hour on daily basis to go through what we've been doing on this platform. Dedicate 1 hour. Read and listen to what we have been doing here in every fortnight on this platform. Go to the YouTube channel, listen to it, read it, listen and listen and listen. Why am I saying this? I understand very well that if we dedicate 1 hour on daily basis, power of consistency is what we are actually exploring. And it is what you read on daily basis. It is what you expose yourself to on daily basis that you will internalize and begin to practice. And that's what this platform is all about. We want to get better on daily basis. We want to uh, um, we want to raise high flyers in the service. People that will stand up, people that will show up in our offices, and nobody will look down on you because you are talking with the voice of reasoning. You are talking with authority. Consistency in whatever that will make us get better is very key. This man, he broke a record in 2020 and he has continuously breaking his own record, competing with himself. This man is called Aman Gustav Duplantis, and he was later nicknamed Armand Mondo Duplantis. Mondo, that you see in his name in Italian language, is equal to, or it means world. Before this man started breaking record, that name is speaking for him. I mean, that nickname is actually speaking for him. So what I'm saying is this: every day, let's dedicate 1 hour. Let's be reading what will get us better on our duty. Let's dedicate 1 hour. It will help us. It will definitely help us to get better on our duties. That's what this platform is all about. That's what we want to do here. And I'm appealing to us. Let's do what to get us, what to make us get better. Consistently. Let's be reading. Let's be reading. Let's be reading and go to the YouTube, subscribe, make comments, share the link, and you will see yourself getting better on daily basis. That's what I will say this corner, and I will draw the curtain on this corner by now, and I will yield the floor for Olaiton to take over while she will introduce our facilitator for today.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much, Doctor, for that opening charge. The power of consistency is key. I don't know, can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Okay, so I have the pleasure to introduce someone very special to me, not just me, the civil service, Mrs. Mrs. Amina Yesterday Amza. I'm going to be reading her profile shortly. Please, but before we do that, before I start reading, please kindly go to the chat box. I've dropped the attendance link there. Please kindly fill the attendance. It's very important to us here at the Public Service Mentorship Program. It's very, very important to us. And good evening, everybody, once again. Okay, Mrs. Amina Amza is an associate deputy director, human and admin and human resource professional in Lagos State Public Service with over, sorry, okay, um, 1 second. Uh, Doctor, is you? I can see you. I can't see my slides anymore. Hello, can you hear me?
Okay. Sorry, so sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can't see my slides anymore. I can see your face popping on the screen. Can you still see my slides?
How about now?
Um, 1 second, it's still showing. Okay, let me just stop share and share again.
Still seeing my face?
Yes. Okay, so can
Yeah.
anybody see my screen now? Okay, you can see my slides now. Okay, thank you, Ma. Good evening, everyone, once again. Okay, so I'm going to be introducing Mrs. Amza. She's a deputy director, admin and human resource professional in Lagos State Public Service with over 22 years of experience in the public sector, HR management, policy implementation, and organizational development. She holds a BSc in Business Administration from the Ahmadu Bello University. She has a postgraduate diploma in Public Administration, ASCON, and a master's degree in Public Administration, University of Lagos. Mrs. Amza is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Management Chartered and an associate member of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, CIPM, and a fellow of the Institute of Leadership Coaching and Strategy, and a member of the Toastmasters International. She is a certified senior professional in human resource international SPHRI and a certified coach, trainer, and a speaker with Maxwell Leadership Team. She brings a wealth of expertise in strategic HR, ethics, and public service governance. In her career, she has contributed to reforms, workforce strategy, institutional development across MDAs, and she has served on various notable committees, which has earned her commendation. Known for her deep passion for public service roles, Known for her deep passion for public service roles, ethics, and doing things right, Mrs. Amza is a dynamic facilitator, rapporteur, and a trainer. She has delivered impactful sessions on emotional intelligence, team bonding, communications, and performance management, consistently leaving audience energized and inspired with her ability to break down complex topics, drive meaningful dialogue, and connect deeply with participants. She is widely recognized as a thought partner committed to building excellence, integrity, and professionalism within the civil service, within the Lagos State public sector. So please, with our emojis, can we just welcome her? Mrs. Amza, good evening, ma. And you're welcome to the Public Service Accelerator Program. I say Public Service Accelerator Program, so we're accelerating everybody indirectly. Good evening, ma. Are you on the call? Hello. Mrs. Zamza, are you on the call? We can't hear you. Can anybody hear me at all?
Okay, good evening, Lighton. I was actually muted all along.
Oh
So
my
I was
goodness,
trying,
apologies, ma.
yes. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
I trust we all had a wonderful weekend. So can I share my slide now?
Yes, ma,
I
you
believe
can share your slides. Yes.
I believe my slide is on now.
Okay, yes. Yes, we can see it.
Okay. Good evening to my senior colleagues, my friends, everybody in the house. The topic for discussion for this session is maintaining harmony, practical approaches to grievance handling in the public sector. So I want to talk a lot about, I deliberately put the word about grievance procedures. So every workplace has its share of friction points, and very much everywhere we have it. In the public service, with its layers of authority, rules, and expectation, those frictions often show up as grievances. And to buttress a little about rules and authority, Max Weber, the propender of bureaucracy, has it clearly spelled out that bureaucracy is based on rules and regulations and hierarchy. So these hierarchy, those rules and regulation, because of we're in a system that is evolving, will also bring one grievance or the other. Sometimes it begins as a complaint, a small dissatisfaction whispered to a colleague. Other times it grows into a grievance, a matter of fairness, dignity, or rights. And sometimes it escalates into a disciplinary issue, demanding corrective action. going by the rules, Chapter 10 of the Public Service Rule 2015, it says that all officers have the opportunity to raise concerns should they have a reasonable suspicion that unlawful conduct, malpractice, or criminal negligence is occurring, has occurred, or is likely to occur. So this is the fairness play the government, the public service allows us as public servants. And it allows you to, like, whether you are sensing something is happening or is about to happen or has happened. So you have the whistleblowing, you have the grievances, and the truth is this: grievances are not proof that the system is broken. They are proof that people are human, because we have varying perceptions to life, varying understanding to matters, varying demands, because we come from different backgrounds, different educational backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. So what matters most is not the grievance itself, but the wisdom with which it is handled. So the 5 main components I have drawn out from Chapter 10, we have complaints, I have identified grievance, disciplinary issue, petition, and whistleblowing. Complaints. A complaint is often a reaction to discomfort. So you just say it to your friend, oh, I don't understand why this thing like this. I remember an officer came in, was it just last week? And she was like, she didn't know she didn't make the promotion exams. Because when she was doing her promotion exam, the structure training, I think the network logged her off, and she got back on it and continued. All she did was just complain to a colleague that, while doing my structure training, this thing, I was logged out, but I got back on and I was able to complete. So it's just a complaint at that time. It's just a reaction to something that was a discomfort. Then grievance. A grievance is a formal it reflects deeper dissatisfaction that can no longer be ignored. Let me take the officer again there. At the point where the officer realized that she already got her salary increase, now she realized that she got a letter now that she did not make the promotion exams and she should write the exam in 2026. It becomes a grievance because she can no longer ignore that complaint, because that complaint has had an effect on her. So a disciplinary issue is misconduct where rules are breached and accountability must follow. Petition, a formal appeal to the ultimate authority, that is the head of government, for special consideration of a matter affecting an officer personally. Whistleblowing entails raising concern to higher authority about alleged misconduct occurring in the office or in service. So one thing to note is that whistleblowing is majorly focused on public interest. Grievance is individual interest because it's not an adverse situation inimical to the interest of an officer, which includes injustice, wrong, disservice, hurt, or injury. Such officer or person are not expected to suffer a detriment or any form of retribution as a consequence of the action if allegations are upheld. Malicious or false claims under the either are punishable. Now, here are some common questions that will be running through our mind, like, okay, Hamza is saying this. How do I know when a complaint becomes a grievance? So I say when it involves justice or rights, that is when it becomes a grievance. Can misconduct be disguised as a grievance? Yes, but PSR distinguishes between grievances from misconduct. What if grievance is just personality clash? Then I say address it informally first before you put pen to paper. So the public service framework, the public service rule do not leave us guessing. It provides a clear pathway. So government makes every effort to ensure that all members of staff in its employment are treated with consideration and fairness under the possible conditions. However, procedures have been established whereby concerns, grievance, and that is as spelled out in Chapter 10 of the Public Service Rule 2015. So if an officer is not satisfied with a decision made, which affects him directly or indirectly, or the outcome of a grievance or a whistleblowing matter raised, a representation shall be made to the permanent secretary. If the representation is unsuccessful, then a formal appeal can be made, a written form. So here are the channels for the redress. It says that the PSR between 10102 to 104, he said that the chairman, you can make your appeal to the chairman. If chairman, Civil Service Commission, or any other such body, as long as those matters are related to acting appointment, promotion, transfer, discipline, whistleblowing, and grievances, as it relates to the career part of an officer. However, it says that the head of service or similar authority on matters relating to other conditions of service, e.g. leave, passages, allowances, pensions, and gratuities. So any officer in the state public service may address the head of government by transmitting such communication unsealed and in triplicate to any of the channels mentioned in the preceding rule, requesting that the petition be forwarded promptly to the head of government. Yes, I have also drawn out some practical concerns that will be running through our thoughts. Okay, now, if my HOD is the problem, who do I report to? What the PSR says is that you should escalate it to a higher authority. So if your HOD is the one, send it to the PS. If it's the PS, take it to the head of service, or you go on and on. But of course, you won't direct it to the person himself. So what if I go straight to the governor? No, you can't go straight to the governor, because the rule says petitions will be returned via channels. Even if you write it to the governor will mail it back to the responsible channel to give him, because it is for him, because he wouldn't have any information at our fingertips. So he needs to get information, the details of the whole matter should be reported to him through the appropriate channel. So are grievances confidential? Yes, but full secrecy may not be possible if it involves a supervisor. No retaliation is allowed. And you know very well, even under Chapter 4, it is said that even when you want to invite anybody to a personnel management board, the person must have evidence or must have cited all evidences that is being charged against. So how grievances travel, informal or formal steps? So some matters are resolved through simple conversations, mediation, or HR intervention. That is the informal path. But when dignity, rights, and justice are at stake, the formal part begins. A written grievance, a PMB review, escalation through the proper channel, and only when necessary, a petition to the highest authority. So the lesson here is that address issues early, or they will grow into formal disputes. So when we not sit too long, we carry these things too long, you don't seek for explanation. At times, we just notch some grudges against our uplines or even colleagues, and you just need a little explanation and you are there. So without prejudice to their constitutional rights, officers should, as much as possible, exhaust all avenue provided in the public service rule. So now this is a rule, and I think this is something that we really need to dwell upon. An officer must not attempt to bring political or other external influence to support his individual claims. If he is dissatisfied, his proper course is to make representation to his immediate superior officer or permanent secretary or head of agency. If his representation is not successful, it is open to him to submit a formal petition to the appropriate authority under Rule 1013. Let me come in here on this. We have many officers these days that a little thing that just needs some explanation, or they need to just clear out some things, and you find that one political person or one OBA or one PS, retired PS, or one is writing or is coming on behalf of that officer. You have not even presented this matter at all. And you're having somebody writing that my right has been, I have been deployed to a I've been given, what do you call it again? There's this thing like you have been ungraded. So why don't you come fight this matter? Come with your necessary, I think I use the word project yourself first before you now go to seek help side. And ordinarily, you are not even supposed to, unless when you see that the matter is going out of hand, then you can come in with a petition, which you will write, you can address it to the governor, but you will not submit it. You only copy the governor and you address it to the appropriate channel as it's applicable. Routing of petition. Petitions must pass through the officer's immediate superior and permanent secretary. So as long as it is not, if the grievance involves the superior, it goes to the next higher authority, which I have explained earlier. So petitions sent directly to governor will be returned through proper channel. Petitions submitted on behalf of another person. Well, another person, we are talking about an illiterate here, or somebody due to health issues or incapacity. So the petition must be submitted on behalf, a petition may be submitted on behalf of an officer, must clearly state the identity and consent of the officer concerned. So when you mean consent of the officer concerned, is it that you can use a thumbprint of the officer, or a picture, or a voice note, or something to show that there is a consent of that officer to give you that authority or power to write on his behalf. So HR and admin must verify that the officer is aware and endorses the petition. And this is where another emotional intelligence comes to play. How much do we connect? You know, you find at times you issue somebody a query, you said that he didn't come to office for 1 week. How much have you checked on that officer? What effort did you do? Okay, send someone to his house, his known address, to find out his well-being. So we don't just issue these things. And that's why you have a lot about coaching, counseling, and mentoring in chapter 4 of the public service rule under general inefficiency. So identity of the petitioner. A petition shall not be anonymous and must be duly signed by the petitioner in triplicates. Anonymous or abusive petition shall be what? Shall not be entertained. So key points here that petitioner's full identity must be disclosed, must be signed and dated by the officer, submitted in 3 copies through official channels, ensures accountability and fairness is reviewed. And HR must ensure confidentiality while processing. Another ground rule about it is that petition will not be entertained if they are what? Anonymous. Because who wants to speak to a blank face? They contain abusive or offensive language. What we are saying here is clearly, concisely, precisely state what you want to state without writing, I think I read this petition, something like that. They are, you know, the word was so huge that you'll be wondering, so they are frivolous or malicious. When they are frivolous or malicious, you don't know what it is, you're just assuming. You know, I heard of a story one time, an officer where his colleague wrote a petition and attached some of the photocopies of his submission. That is the officer that was writing everything that relates to money in the ministry. So is that do you have evidence? Is it the one that collected the money? No. So these ones are just being malicious and frivolous, actually. So delay in petition. The petition must be submitted within 6 months of the contested decision. These petitions are disqualified unless petitioner shows strong justification and encourages timely pursuit of justice. So let me explain this part a bit. If you want to write an appeal or to a matter that has been decided upon, when you are writing, your appeal or your petition must have something new, different from what has been decided upon. For example, now maybe somebody that forged the signature of a accounting officer, and every evidence has showed and he has been dismissed on that regard. So he's not appealing. If he has to appeal, he must bring something new. Okay, probably he can say maybe during that time he had is it azemia they call it, or something that he lost lots of memory, which must have been justified. So you must bring something new on board to defend that matter. So conclusion on petition process. Once the governor or delegated authority has given a decision, the matter is concluded and binding. kò sí ọ̀gá mi lẹ́yìn the delegated authority or the super approval. So officers are expected to accept the outcome in good faith. Repeated or frivolous petition after conclusion can lead to what? Misconduct. In fact, it can lead to serious misconduct. So consequences of abuse: malicious, false claims, disciplinary action under PSR, safeguard integrity of the system, and protect the new officers while deterring abuse. So in summary, petition for appeal to governor must be signed in triplicate and routed officially. Must be submitted within 6 months of decision, cannot be anonymous, abusive, and blah, blah. Now, let's come back, bringing it to us, to life, bringing empathy into this discussion. So the right to be heard. Every officer has a right to fair hearing. This means grievances are not brushed aside, but investigated, often by personnel management board meetings. If not satisfied, the officer can appeal, first through the head of department, then to the civil service, the head of department, the permanent secretary, then to the civil service commission or head of service, depending on the matter as stated in 10103. So, and in the final instance, petitions can be directed to the governor following due process. So the system is structured to ensure no one is left out and no voice is left out. So I want to sort of link this to the Constitution. The 1999 Constitution, Section 36, it guarantees the right to fair hearing in all grievances petition process. And the Labor Act protects employees from unfair labor practices, requires due process, employees' compensation, ensure redress for workplace injury, unsafe condition. Whistleblower protection policy reinforces PSR by protecting officers who report corruption or malpractice. So International Labor Convention, Nigeria is bound to principles of fairness. So the key takeaway here is that the reason why I'm bringing this is that you realize that everything in the public service rule, as it has been stipulated, it has factored everything around the right of the petitioner or the grievance layer. So the grievance handling in the Lagos State Public Service is not only a PSR requirement, it is aligned with Nigeria's constitution, labor statutes, and international best practice. So real life dilemmas, here we come. Is it safer to settle informally? For me, I will tell you yes, unless dignity and rights violated. What if grievance is emotional, not factual? So you listen. So when grievances are emotional and not factual, what we just need is a listening ear, especially the admin and HR. We need to learn to give ears, lay our ears to this. We need to connect. Because, you know, like my peers will always say, we are not just the engine room, we are the engine. We are the engine of the MDA. So hence, we need to connect with every entity or every process in the NDA. So listen, so if grievances is emotional, not factual, so listen empathetically. What PSR requires evidence. When should I escalate? When informal fails or rights are breached. So you see that there's always a process, and everything it says that informal, resort to informal before you go to formal. So responsibilities in the process. Officers must raise grievances honestly without malice. Supervisors must listen, act fairly, and not silence voices. You know, somebody brings a matter to you. You know, this thing, I always say this in some instances, that somebody comes to you, I want to see you for this matter. The matter that and he's talking to you, and you are on your phone, and you're like, okay, I'm listening. I'm listening to you. You know, you are not connecting. One little mistake or negligence in what that person has said can lead to either even committing suicide, depression, because at times it's just an unfair thing that is happening, and maybe the officer cannot relay it to anybody. So HR administrators must interpret the rules with neutrality and empathy. And for you to interpret the rules with neutrality and empathy, you must understand the application of the rules. PMBs, Civil Service Commission, head of service must investigate with justice, not politics. So I know we are in a system whereby politics are has meddled into administration. However, that does not stop us from aligning with the rules. So the governor, as the last resort, must embody fairness at the highest level. So harmony is maintained when every level plays its part with integrity. So the skills we need in ensuring handling of grievances. Grievance handling is not just about quoting rules, because, you know, some of us can be that strict that when a matter come, I'm like, 040501, no song, bye. 302, this is what you say. That is not about it. And that is why I keep telling people, I keep drawing people's attention to the fact that the 2015 PSR has emphasized coaching, mentoring, and counseling, because he believes that it has brought the human face into the public service. He wants us to connect, that we are far. And you know, when we talked about the Japa type, I remember saying that we have what we call the mental Japa, which is whereby you are working in the public service, but mentally you are not there. You are just angry at everything. Nothing comes well with you. Every submission, you write it with anger. And so you need to connect with your officers. So this requires listening without bias, separating emotions from facts, because there are some heads of departments that they will not even allow everything their officer says. There are so many that you miss out on the facts, because that person, you have lost trust or something. Communicating decision with clarity. When you have decision, please communicate with clarity. Look at the level of individuals to communicate with them. Protecting confidentiality. Yes. I remember somebody, a director, admin, and HR, that the officer came to him in serious confidentiality. And when he was talking, he didn't know the officer was nearby. And that exact thing the officer said, he even mentioned the name of the officer. And the first officer was just crying. I just met him at the corner crying. Kilo Shele. Only imagine, all of that I told her, this thing I still am confident. I just saw her. And in fact, she was what paid me. She can even use it for example. But she was even mentioning my name. So that part is not really, we need to take caution in that. And above all, balancing firmness with what? Fairness. So if you say you want to bring emotional intelligence because you want to be inspirational, you want to be nice, does not mean you should not be tough. So emotional intelligence is also being that you can be tough and nice. You need to be assertive. So these are the skills that transform an HR officer or administrator into a trusted custodian of workplace harmony. Here are some skills in action again. How do I remain neutral if my boss is involved? Then you escalate it to the higher authority. That's the only way you can remain neutral. Look for a trusted authority that you can escalate it. So how do I protect both officer and the service? Address fairly without undermining discipline. You remember I said you can be tough, you can be nice and still be tough. You can be principled. So you need to be assertive when it comes to decision taking. What skills make HR trusted? Transparency, confidentiality, following due process. What is good for the goose is good for the gander. The outcome of getting it right. When grievances are handled well, trust in leadership grows. So when you handle grievances in a very diplomatic, in a very responsive, in a very fair, with equity, then there will be trust will grow. Trust in leadership will grow. Workplace tension will reduce. So by the time when you manage grievances, you do not allow complaints to escalate to grievance. From grievance, it becomes raising petition. So when they start raising petition and complaints, we lay deaf ears to complaints. It then starts becoming grievances and people want to fight for their rights. So staff morale also rises because they believe that somebody cares. Productivity improves because when people are staff, when their morale rises, it will also definitely improve the quality of the work, and the service moves closer to its core values of fairness, equity, and respect. So grievance handling is not just a process, it's an investment in people. So tough questions from the field. What if grievances are ignored? Once grievances are ignored, sincerely, trust erodes. PSR appeal levels prevent this. So because trust will not get eroded, which is something that is so much now. So the PSR gives rooms that we should that PSR appeal levels will prevent the different levels of, you have the Civil Service Commission, the head of service, you have the Mr. Governor, you have even reporting. At times, these things, once you escalate it to the next senior level, it can even get resolved at that point. So how long should resolution take place? According to best practice, within 30 working days. So what about false grievances? PSR allows discipline for malicious, frivolous petitions. I think it's a serious misconduct also. So grievances, call to action on this. Grievances will always come. We'll see it will always come. There's no way. That's why we are humans. But we decide whether they become wounds that divide or bridges that unite. As public servants, our task is clear. Handle every grievance with justice, empathy, and professionalism. Because harmony is not automatic. It is built through fairness. This is my call to action to everyone, that it is not possible that we'll not have complaints, we'll not have grievances, petitions will not come in, because something that the way Mr. A will interpret a matter might totally be different from the way Mr. B will interpret it. Our level of reception or even interpretation of situations also matters a lot. So thank you so much. Comment, feedbacks, and questions. I hope I'm talking to everybody.
Yeah, you're talking to everybody. Everybody listening to you very, very well. Thank you so much for this insightful section. You have actually dealt with this question, and then with this session appropriately, and then I'm very sure that everybody has enjoyed what you have said. Thank you. Thank you so much for this session. So it's time for our questions and our contributions and our observations. All right, Tom, please take over, please. Is she there? Okay. All right, Tom, please take over, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Doctor. I was muted at some point. Okay, thank you very much, Mrs. Amza. That was quite an insightful session. The PSR, the laws, the extant rules, and also if you have questions, please kindly drop your questions. Before we start taking the questions, I'm going to be moderating these questions with my senior colleague, Mrs. Dolapo Faiga. Mrs. Faiga, are you on? Kindly unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, I am, Olaiton.
Okay, good evening, Ma. You're welcome. And thanks for
Thank
joining
you.
me on this questions and comments. Okay, so we're just going to be looking through the comment sessions to see if we have questions. Okay, so I can see one person here. Mrs. Faiga, do you mind going with the questions? Do you have questions already?
Yes, please.
Okay, please.
Thank you. Okay, thank you,
You
Mrs.
have the floor.
Amza. Thank you, Olaiton. Thank you, Mrs. Amza, for the insightful learning session. And I say good evening to everyone as well. Okay, so I have a question from Please hold on. One second. So I have a question from Jumoke Durosimi. And the question is, who handles initial investigation of grievance? Mrs. Hamza, over to you, ma.
Okay, like I said earlier, the ministry, the MDA, because it's the HR, if it's a grievance, right, the personnel, there's going to be investigation. So if the investigation warrants that a personnel management board is set, be constituted, it will be constituted accordingly. So from there, reports will go through the necessary portals. Like I said earlier, if, for example, now if there's a grievance written, probably with respect to your HOD, you write it to the permanent secretary. The permanent secretary will investigate. Will set up maybe a board of inquiry, and they find out if there's need. They will now write. They now report on it to the PS, and the PS they might recommend that a personnel management board be constituted to look into the matter. So, and if there's any, if it's a matter relating to career, to be forwarded to the Civil Service Commission. If it's related to pension and other service benefit, the head of service handles it. I don't know. I hope I'll be able to clear. Did I clear it with you, for you?
Thank you, ma. Jumoke, can you give a thumb up to know if she actually cleared your question? Hello, Jumoke Durosimi.
I'm not sure she'll be able to unmute herself.
She can just give a thumb up.
Okay.
Okay. Let me see if there's another question while we wait for Jumoke to just give us a thumb up. Okay. And if you're unable to type, you can. Okay, I have another question from Omowumi Oluwalanke. I read, in a situation where the upline is grieved with the downline in a way that it is not related to work, can this officer write to the parent MDA, especially where the PS believes everything the senior officer says? Over to you, ma.
Sorry, please, can I get the question again? Ms.
So the
Faiga, can you
question
repeat the
says,
question?
yes, I'm doing that, ma.
With you.
It says,
I'm with
okay.
I'm with
In a
you.
situation, okay, ma. In a situation where the upline is grieved with the downline in a way that it is not related to work, can the officer write to the parent MDA, especially where the PS believes everything the senior officer says? This is from Omowumi Oluwalanke.
Okay, let me be sure I got the question right. Because he said if there's an if the officer has an issue, let's say, okay, has a grievance and she's not comfortable with the position of her head of department. Is that what I'm getting here?
Yes,
okay.
In a situation where the upline is grieved with the downline in a way that it is not related to work. This is not even related to her work at all. Yes. Can the officer write to the parent ministry, especially where the PS believes everything the senior officer says?
Well, you know, there's this thing they call government business is done on paper. And one thing you put in paper, there's no way it can just be thrown down anywhere. And that is why you realize that if it is a petition, it's always said that it should be done in triplicates. So you send one, either you copy the governor, you send the original to the responsible. Maybe if it's the commission, either commission or the head of service, then one to the person you're reporting the matter to. So from there, the matter has a noise around. So there's no way one person can press down on it. So, but if you believe that you are not sure, you know, I think there's a part of the rules that says that if you are not satisfied with it, you can now write again to the next superior. So like if you believe the PAMSEC is not doing, but you know, hierarchically at times it's best for you to write it. If the HOD is not in order, you are not comfortable with HOD, write to the permanent secretary before you write to the permanent secretary outside of your ministry. The accounting officer of your ministry should be aware But if you're now right and you realize that there's no response, you can now copy the permanent secretary of probably the pool ministry or the office of the head of service as applicable, or the civil service commission. So like, can you do a thumbs up if it's okay, if you're okay with the response?
Okay, so the first question was perfectly responded to. The Muslima, I don't know, Jumoke has responded. Miss Oluwalanke has not put a thumbs up.
Okay, she has put a thumbs up.
She just did now. Okay, Mrs. Faiga, your questions again. There's a question in the chat box. Mrs. Faiga, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay, have you seen the question from Ayobami?
Okay, yes, I have.
Okay, please, can you read?
So this question is from Oluga Ayobami, and it says, the issues around grievance, in my opinion, has a relationship with trust, especially with respect to both in-service and mainstream politics and other influences. Now, the question is, how do we practically build trust that would enhance faith in the process leading to the resolution of conflicts and grievances? Do I read again, Ma?
Well, I got what she said, because how do you manage grievances where politics and lobbying and all these other sentiments are playing? Is that the summary of what I'm getting from this?
Yes, in a situation whereby relationship is built on trust.
You see, if you look at one of the steps, and that's why HR has a big role to play in this, because the role HR plays in every MDA is very significant in ensuring that there is integration, there is harmony in the ministry or in the MDA in general. So if you recall, I think in the call to action where I said that once grievances are dropped, are ignored, or are not managed, handled fairly, trust erodes. So we need to ensure that, one, every matter that comes to our table, like Madam Suki will say, every file is a life. It is the life of somebody, especially in this VUCA world we are. Volatility, uncertain, complex, ambiguous, and disruptive, whereby a little trigger on any matter can be as a result of one issue or the other. So in essence, we need to manage the way we handle situations. We shouldn't, there's this complacency behavior that, no. Level of resilience, adaptability, flexibility, and because of that, we must ensure that when a matter comes to us, we take it as if it is somebody's life. Yes, like we said earlier, one rule that can lead that is a misconduct, whereby you find people, before a matter is even being addressed, you have politicians already coming in to address it. Even at times, it's not even politicians. It can just be your friend. A friend, the director in that place is your friend, sir. Please let me go and talk to them. I get pissed off when people do that, because if you come to me about an officer's matter and the officer, him or herself, has not even approached me on it, it really gets me on my nerves, because let her come. Let the person come and explain himself. Because, there was a scenario whereby somebody said he wanted something, but what the person that came forward came to explain was different from what the complainant is explaining. So one, I must say that we cannot rule that fact out, that influence of politics cannot be completely thrown out. So to every rule, there's an exception. However, if we follow the rules professionally, please, let's take the word professionally, sincerely, the system will be better. But we need to be committed. We need to be deliberate. We need to be intentional about ensuring that every grievance does not lead, every complaint does not get to being a grievance. So I think that is basically in summary what I can say about the political influence on this. So distrust is a responsibility of you and I. We all play a role in it. The treatment you give to Mr. A, please, let us try and make sure that Mr. B gets the same treatment. So when we are doing that, we realize that there will be some level of trust and belief in it. Well, we cannot really, there are still some officers, still some directors, still some institutions that are still that you can say yes. And once he says it, that is the way it is. So I think that's it.
Thank you, Ma. Oluga, I hope she's been able to address your question. Just give a thumbs up. Okay, so I have another question here. Ma, sorry to bother you. I want to know if there is escalation path if an employee is dissatisfied with the outcome. I guess she's trying to ask if there's a way to escalate when an employee is dissatisfied with the outcome of whatever comes out of an issue.
Okay, I think that was a follow-up question to the question she asked earlier.
Okay, I can't see the question she asked earlier. Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. Mrs. Hamza had talked about it. The first person who asked the question. Who handles the initial investigation of a grievance by Jumoke Duro Simi? That was the question. So this question is a follow-up question to that.
Oh, to that, okay.
Yes.
And I think she addressed it while she was talking, routing of petitions.
Yeah, I think she addressed that already.
Okay, so we have it, I have it on my slide. If his representation is not successful, it is open to him to submit a formal petition to the appropriate authority under Rule 101-103, 100-103, which where we said that if you feel that the PMB decision was not satisfactory to you, you can write to the head of service or the Civil Service Commission as appropriate.
Okay, ma'am, thank you. There is also another question from Temitope Onigbanjo, and I read, where commission has given its ruling and you have strong conviction that it has not been properly resolved, can you write to the HOS? The problem is that all the uplines you will pass through are not ready to give you the necessary support to route your letter. What do you do?
Yes, you can write to the next immediate. I think petition must, okay, there's a place I'm trying to open, but yes, you can write. If you feel the commission you're not satisfied with the decision of the commission, you can write to the head of service. Does that answer the question? Hello?
Hello, ma, we can hear you.
Okay.
We're with you.
So if an officer is not satisfied with a decision made which affects him directly or indirectly, or the outcome of a grievance or a whistleblowing matter raised, a representation shall be made to the permanent secretary. If unsuccessful, a formal written appeal can be made. So when you write, you now copy, you can write to the head of service you don't get, if you are not satisfied with the decision of the commission. So okay, even at the long run, we have instances where officers, that even the decision of the head of service, the commission, you are not satisfied with it. So what most people do, they do a triplicate and copy Mr. Governor, like I said, that's why you have a triplicate, and write again an appeal. And that's why there's room for appeal. When there's a petition, if you are not satisfied, then you write an appeal. So when you write, the appeal has to be within 6 months when that decision was originally taken. So if you write your appeal again, if you are still not satisfied, you keep writing your appeal, now and copy Mr. Governor or copy the head of service.
All right, thank you so much. Sorry,
Thank
please.
you.
Mr. Haiga, just hold on. I saw Okoli Olufunke raised her hand, but she has lowered it. Peradventure, her question has been
Maybe
attended
answered.
to. So maybe we should just confirm from her. Okoli Olufunke. Can you please unmute yourself and confirm that your question has been attended to? Okay.
Yes, it has been attended to.
Oh, thank
Thank
you.
you. However, I have an observation to you.
A fronted
Thank you.
a
Can you
fronted
hear
ad.
me? Hello.
You can go ahead.
Thank you
We
so
can
much.
hear you.
My observation is that I've had an example of somebody who was afraid to actually go all the way to put up a write-up or a petition against a particular grievance they had. And one of the reasons she gave far back then is that the senior colleagues in that NDA told her that, look, this thing will not fly because it's dead on arrival. And most of the time, really, because I think I heard you mention that, Sandra, that even sometimes when you have some things that is bothering you, especially as um, somebody who has an upline that does not have a listening ear, or that does not want to go all the way to assist you in seeing to the end of that thing, and that will naturally just kill that desire. And you, if care is not taken, you carry that grievances with you even till you leave that particular NDA or probably service. So my question is, as HR professionals that we are, how do we help those that are under us to be able to speak up? We said we are now on the growth mindset kind of a thing. How do we help them to speak up? Because quite a number of them are going through some things that they do not have, is it the strength now or the ability to come up with because of the belief that it will not fly. Thank you.
Well, Mrs. Okele, thank you for your question or comment. And I think it's related to the example I gave earlier. But you see, if we are not exposed, there's no way we can learn how to manage situations. And many of our HR personnel, either those up or those down, what I observe is that we are not exposing ourselves to good readings. Look, I always emphasize that you need to, if you look at, many of us love using the word emotional intelligence. How many of us know exactly what emotional intelligence is all about? Because emotional intelligence it has about 4 or 5 components. And the first component is self-awareness. How many of us know ourselves? Because we only see ourselves as the oga. We are only bosses. We are not leaders. We need to be leaders. And because we are leaders, all we need to focus on is influencing people. How much are we influencing our downlines? How much are we influencing our colleagues? That is what leadership is all about. So A and HR, we need to have a total mindset shift. We need to understand that before you choose to be a leader, before we need to prepare ourselves for leadership. Let me not even say before you are appointed or before you get to the level of managerial, strategic management, senior. What we need to do is understand what leadership is all about. Understand ourselves. I can talk about the 3 first concepts of 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth of John C. Maxwell. He talks about law of intentionality. How much? He said growth does not happen by accident. You have to be intentional about it. Many of us want to grow. Many of us are picturing where we want to go. Are we doing what we need to do to grow to that place? Because we need to influence people. Who are we leaving the service for? To be candid, who are we leaving the service for? I was speaking to a PS on Friday, and she was saying that she has resolved to train the junior ones and leave the senior ones because the senior ones have become egungun in quotes. While the junior ones, if you train them and continue to create the environment for them to thrive, if we leave the service, we can come back to meet people that are worth meeting. But for those of us that are all there, that are here, we are already had egungun. We are becoming difficult to break, but it is never too late. The next step is when we talk about self-awareness, law of awareness. How much do you know yourself? And this third one is law of the mirror. You need to know yourself to grow yourself. How much are we growing? Because we don't know ourselves. I'm sorry to use this word. We are more focused on the monetary things. We are not focusing on the things that will add value and will build a team together. So those key things. Now, after that, it goes to self-regulation, which is the second component. How much we are using ourselves to what? Align with another person and the person's self to align with us before we now go to empathy. Empathy is seeing yourself in the other person's shoes. So how are we doing this? Before we now go to social intelligence, we need to understand that it is the responsibility of the A and HR. Where there is peace, in fact, A and HR should stop power with directors in another department to affect or demoralize the staff of another department. You don't have to see it the way that person sees it. You see it professionally and treat it professionally with empathy, emotion, and concern. So that is where the line I am seeing there. However, I want to appeal to every officer. If you have an issue, the first thing we said is talk. If you can't talk with your director, go and see the PS. See the PS. As long as you know that you are not bringing frivolous or malicious things on the table. But be sure that you have your facts clear. Don't just assume this Oga does not like me. This Oga is always shouting at me. Maybe that is the nature of the Oga. Come and shout me. So you need to understand it first, define itself, play it in your own way, and now go and see the PS or see another director that you feel can talk to her, and then you now talk from there. But let us also respect our downlines, and the downlines should respect the uplines. Like my religion will tell me that ki olori, let the agba, let the junior ones, younger ones respect the older ones, and let the older ones have pity for the younger ones. So that you can only, especially on Gen Z, or anybody. And we are frustrating them because before they come in, we are already telling them the system is bad. Salary burúkú. We are already telling them the system cannot grow. This service is there. You are the one sending people away. Many of us are the ones sending them away. We are not telling them that this environment, they can thrive. They can thrive with being professional. They can thrive with being understanding the system. Most importantly, be assertive with anything you want to do. So I don't know, Mrs. Okolie, this is my own position.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Mrs. Hamza. So I can see Mr. Babatunde's hands up. Please, Mr. Babatunde, unmute yourself and ask your question while I'll be preparing to. Mr. Babatunde, are you there?
Doctor, sir.
Yes.
Doctor, sir. Okay. So after Mr. Babatunde, there's a question on YouTube I would love us to answer.
Oh, good. So let me just ask this question, then we'll come back to the live viewers.
Okay, sir.
Right, Doctor, thank you so much. Mrs. Hamza, thank you for your presentation. I'm not asking a question. I just want to make a comment based on what Mrs. Okoli have said and what you have said. And it
Yes,
has to
sir.
do with our directors of admin and human resource. You see, we have an issue in service already. And many of our directors of admin and human resource that are in place now are not or were not prepared for that position. That is just the simple truth. Many of them are interested in the benefit of that office. And not, they are not, there's no, how will I put it? The responsibility that is attached to that office, many of them don't have that knowledge. Like you rightly said, self-awareness. Many of them do not even know who they are personally. So how would they now relate with their downlines? If you have the opportunity of seeing this A&HR, I mean, admin and human resource officers relate with their downlines, you'll be shocked. You will be shocked. They are meant to be encouraging these ones, the junior ones, but it is always the opposite, discouraging them. I mean, calling them all sorts of names, running them down, and making them feel worthless. And you know the irony of it. Many of them will come on board and take these topics that we are all discussing. They will do a wonderful presentation, but for them to practice what they teach is an issue. So I don't know how I want to go about it. There's a serious issue where this platform and other platforms that are available is an opportunity. But the big issue is that would they learn from it and do accordingly? Thank you so much.
Let me quickly speak to that. Please allow me. Okay, so Mr. Babatunde, I like your submission, I like your observations, I like what you have said, but you know that we will not continue this way. And that's why this kind of platform is alive. We will not continue this way. If we have, I think what I'm about to say is close to what probably Temitope Onigbanjo is also talking about. It might be close to it. Okay, if we have hotlines that are not doing what they should be doing, so we should now remain silent. No, we will not remain silent. Something must be done. Something must be done. And that thing that should be done is to escalate that situation far above your upline. Because you won't keep quiet. It's not gonna be so. You will not keep quiet because somebody who has occupied a space and is not doing well, should that be enough to give somebody depression? Should that be enough for someone not to feel like coming to the office? No, you escalate. And you see, by the time you escalate, and I'm very sure that you will be the first person to escalate, even if you are the first, and the accounting officer is so he knows what we are talking about when we talk about emotional intelligence. He or she should be able to address this issue, professionally. Because you can't tell me that because you are in an office, you occupied a space, you occupied a position, somebody should be feeling threatened, not coming to the office. No, that's not somebody is in the mosque. It's not going to happen, no. Mr. Babatunde, I understand you very, very well. So that person, please go ahead and escalate the situation to the most senior officer. And if the person happens to be the most senior officer, please go to your accounting officer and express your feeling. Honestly, that's the way it should be.
Mr. Okudero, please, can I quickly add, who is this now? Please, can I add something to this? You see, one is, I would always appreciate that before you escalate to the topmost officer, After, well, of course, you are certain that your upline is just not ready to shift grounds. I think such officers should at times just look for and I would encourage that we have mentors in the service. Share with your mentor first, because at times your definition of being exploited or your right being infringed upon might not necessarily be like that. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say here. So have a mentor, have somebody, a trusted person that you can talk to. So when you share the thoughts with that person, the person as a third party will help you shed more light to the discussion. So from there, maybe you will be able to see whether are you the one, maybe you need to change your step on something, or you need to, and if there's no, then you get moved to the next level. That's my own candid approach to it.
All right, thank you. Before we take Mr. Unsu, Olaiton, that question on the YouTube, please, can you just read it out for us, please?
Okay, sir. Okay, so the question is referring to what Mrs. Amzia said earlier. Ma, you said petition can be written or applied for after 6 months. What about if action was not taken on the issue? What will be the next? Or you are still not satisfied with the response that was given?
Not petition, though, is appeal that can be written within 6 months of a decision has been taken. You must have, maybe you have written a petition and a decision has been taken. Do you understand? So after that, within 6 months of that time when that decision has been taken, you can write an appeal. So even if that appeal is not, like I repeated, you can rewrite another appeal and escalate it to a higher authority. And always copy, that place where that decision was taken, you should copy them too. So they will know that you are dissatisfied and you are taking it to another level. Do you understand now?
Yes, ma. Thank you very much, ma. I'm sure Sally Shadi, I'm sure you are listening. She's on YouTube and I'm sure they can hear you, ma. Thank you very much for answering that.
We have Mr. Unsu Oluremi's hand up. I don't know whether it's
yes, I'm here. Oh, thank you very much, Doctor and Ms. Hamza, for the presentation. Now, I quickly want to talk about what Mr. Taiwo mentioned. Number one, not all the admin and HR are like that. Some are on top of their job and they know what to do at the right time. Yes, that is certain. Then the other aspect is this: when you're trying to bring out the issue of a particular admin and HR to the upline officer, probably the permanent secretary, so to speak. So now, if the admin and HR happens to be the officer of the permanent secretary, and the permanent secretary is not even ready to escalate it or to act on that complaint. Now, I am suggesting that there should be a channel of communication to Office of Public Service Office to lay complaints, so that such complaints will be investigated underground without even the consent of the admin and HR. And probably one or two people have been complaining. So if there is a channel like that, oh, this person has come with this particular admin and HR, this is the same issue, this is the same issue, it could be investigated and action should be taken from there. That's my own opinion. Thank you.
No, that's exactly what I have said, sir. Yes, exactly what it is. If it is, I think Olua Lanke asked such a question. So if you escalate, you escalate it to the head of office of the public service, office of the head of service. That's why we call him the head of service. He's the baba to address everybody's matter. Please, there's somebody here that said, sorry that it is unfair generalization of director, admin, and HR attitude. We need to be specific and not generalize, please. When we say director, admin, and HR, is because we said earlier that they are the engine room of any agency. There is no query. There is no query. There is no grievance between one director or whatever that will pass without coming through the director, admin, and HR. And it's the director, admin, and HR that constitutes that gets approval to constitute a personnel management board. And it is under the director, admin, and HR that one of the division is the employee relations, which manages conflicts, grievances, and whistleblowing. So you see that HR is the engine room, not just even the neck, is the engine room to ensure that there is harmony in any organization. You know, you have instances whereby, okay, I know of a scenario whereby a director of a line department, of a professional department, issued query to his officers. So it is for the admin and HR to say, no, you cannot issue a query to your officer. You are supposed to write a report on the conduct of that officer, and the admin and HR will issue the query. These are the processes we're talking about. So if at that point, before even issuing the query, the director, admin, and HR can what? Ensure that there is peace between between the director and the officer in that department. So that's why you have more emphasis on directors, admin, and HR. However, in general, anybody that has somebody downline, has a downline, whether it's just 1, 2, or 3, you must operate with emotional intent. You must lead to influence.
Lighton, where are you?
Over to you.
Paiga, where are you?
I'm here. Lead to influence.
Enjoying the moment.
Exactly. We're enjoying the moment. Oh, walk the talk, not just talk the walk. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I think there's a question. Okay. Is this a question? Some upline don't. Oh, okay. I just read that. Our job is not just a means to an end, not to an end, not the end itself. Downline might end up greater. Fairness is necessary. You're all appreciated. Okay, so I don't think we have any more questions. Even from the YouTube, we don't have questions there. Somebody made a comment on YouTube saying that they will not give us a listening here. But I'm sure that will change after listening to tonight's sessions. Okay, so quickly, I'll just say that while we are discussing this beautiful topic and a lot of point has been said, how about us just getting the YouTube link and also posting it on our department platform so that most of our directors who are not here, who are not able to join these sessions, also listen and watch the videos again. I think this would also help in the circulation so that a lot of people, because we can't just keep coming. Yeah, I see over 170 people on the call tonight, and in a service where we are over 10,000. I think we should keep broadcasting it, keep telling it to people, talking about it in our offices. We never can tell. We are changing. Let's start with let's let the change start from us. We want to change the world. We want to change the world. How about us starting from our tables, from our colleagues, from our friends, from our directors, our uplines too. I know that we are shaping the service to something beautiful, something better. There are no questions anymore. Doctor, do you want to have the floor
Can I have
now?
a parting shot?
Yes, please. Yes,
Yeah.
ma. Yes, ma, you
Your
can.
final shot, please, before we will now appreciate you.
Okay, please. I want to leave with this message that it is the responsibility of both the top upline and the downline. And that is why we have what we call the 360-degree leadership, leading upwards, across, and downwards. the downlines should not misinterpret our discussion as blaming or holding the directors responsible. No. And the upline too should not see us saying that the younger ones too have their issues. However, everybody has a responsibility to play in this harmonious relationship. We, the younger ones, please, especially the Gen Zs, I think we've moved away from Gen Z, we're in Alpha now. Respect the wisdom of your senior colleagues. Do not water down everything they say. Wisdom, I can tell you, will continue, and for even ChatGPT, AI knows that wisdom is very, very important. It knows that it exists for it to perform. And ChatGPT itself too cannot operate without we humans. So that is why our wisdom is very necessary. For the uplines, I will appeal that we are in a very sensitive situation now, especially if you keep on thinking of the VUCAD. I will repeat it: volatility of the world, the uncertainty of the world, the complexity of the world, the ambiguity we face daily, and the disruptive system we find ourselves. We will know that we need to try to accommodate these young ones, operate with an open mind, lend to their ideas that they bring on board. Let them, even if you will not use their point at times, listen to them and let them know that the time will come, will make use. Be a friend to all of them. And that's just the way we can succeed. And this service is ours. I tell people, if I come back another world, I'm still going to be an HR public servant. I'm a proud public servant. We can all move this public sector work forward, but all we need is a mindset shift. Mindset shift. I end with this quote: we cannot feature in a future we have not pictured. Let us picture that future so that we can feature in it. Thank you so much, Mr. Kudero and your team.
All right, thank you. Picture it so that you can feature there. And,
Spot on.
So please, let's come together as one body, as a family, to appreciate Mrs. Hamza. Please, let's come together as our usual sport. Let's come together. Let's appreciate him. And I'm going to unmute every one of us to do that so that we can quickly sing for her, because she is a jolly good fellow. Are we there now?
Yeah, we are here.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
So let's come together. For she is a jolly good
fellow.
He's a jolly good fellow. He's a jolly good
all of us.
Jolly good fellow. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma. Yes. Thank you so much, ma.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
I
can see your hand. Yolapo, I can see your hand. Zainab, I can see your love.
Thank you. You can see my hand.
Thank you.
Fumilola, I can see your hand. Taiwo.
Thank you, Mama.
Mr. Onsuyetunde, everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
Tony Keko, I can see your hand.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for the session.
Light, thank you. Mr. Okudero, thank you.
Bye, thank you. Bye, thank you.
Faiga.
Thank you. Thank you.
Faiga, thank you also.
Thank you too, ma.
My professor, thank you.
Nice night. Thank you. Dado.
Thank
Dado.
my professor.
Dado. Nice
Thank
night.
you, sir. Thank you,
My
sir.
regards to your family.
Yeah, same here, sir. Same here, sir. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Dressed. Thank you. Good night, everyone.
Night,
Bye.
Good night.
At least the 17 million naira.
Jumoke? Jumoke Obiwemi, are you raising your hand?